Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office teardown lab. I'm in this odd position. That's because I want to show you some things and it's a bit big to show you under the camera. I went to a car boot sale today and picked up three amazing things. The first one was a waffle maker, but I kind of figure you've seen those, so that's not so interesting. But I got it for £1, which was the nice aspect of that. But the next one was this, which is a Fisher-Price tape player, and I've never seen one in this colour. It comes with a tape, and the tape is the Fisher-Price Alpha Beta Play and Learn, and it looks like it's got a standard cassette tape type mechanism in there. So this may or may not work depending on what we find. It does take big ass batteries, so we might do something about that to see if we can make it take a smaller battery. But this is marvellous because look what you can do with it. You've got play, forward, rewind, and of course record, and there's a microphone right there for recording and a nice chunky volume thing. So this cost the grand sum of 50p, and I think that was well worth purchasing. Like the old Walkmans and things like that, I expect it to need some work, so we'll try that in a future video and we'll have a look inside to see if it's crusty or musty. Now, the main prize here, and this cost me the grand sum of £5, and you might be able to just about make up, it says Goblin on this polystyrene box, and it does have a label. It says the Teasmade, and it's the 850k, and anybody in the UK from a certain age will know of the Goblin Teasmade because their parents probably would have got one as a wedding present. This was the gadget to have. Now, this is almost like an unboxing, isn't it? Because it's so like, ooh, ah. So I've never actually opened one of these. I've never seen them in the container, to be honest with you. So that is the kettle, and you can see there's a 3-pin plug because we're in the UK and everything's nice and earthed. And on the bottom it says Goblin 2 pints. That's good, 2 pints of tea. Yes, please. I'll definitely take some of that. Nice Bakelite handle and Bakelite lid. Very clean, isn't it? Look at the mechanism there. It's nice and simple to lock it down. And inside, if you look closely, you can see there is, of course, a heating element, and then there's a water level indicator right there, just under the spout, and a little spouty thing. You'll see why it has a little spouty thing in a moment. Put that here. Then you have the actual. We're British, of course, so we do have a proper British teapot, and this is no different, even though it's a convenience. It's not like your Mr. Coffee over in the States. We don't do things by halves. There is a little bit of tea staining in there. If you ever have that, by the way, tea staining, just put some boiling water in and drop a dishwasher tablet in there, and you'll see after like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it'll just lift all of that. You can give that a good rinse. Give it a bloody good rinse though. You don't want any dishwasher tablet juice in there. That will be harmful. So we have a Ford's electrical plug on there. Let's see what this does. It's got that thing where the polystyrene has kind of glazed it. The polystyrene has started to eat into that, but the cable looks fine. And we've got this inner part. Take that out. Oh, and look, it actually has an original Goblin Teasmade bag in this. So this is the original thing. I kind of expect it to have, maybe it had a cardboard slip cover on that, but again, I've never seen them in real life. I might go all Goblin Teasmade actually at the car boot sales, because I think that these are just, the aesthetic's amazing, isn't it? Look at that. You've got your alarm setting, off, light or auto. Ooh, and that's got some serious, you could see that. It's got some serious resistance behind that. Or have I just twisted the knob off? Perhaps. We'll know once we plug it in. So I'm going to plug in the Teasmade. See if we got some basic functionality. Hopefully we have. There is a time setting gadget on the back. I could probably just listen. The clock is working. The light isn't working. Again, I kind of think maybe I've wanged the bulb though. I might have broken that. Let me get into that and have a little investigation. The locking screw is undone, so I can take this off. It is live, by the way. I do have this plugged in. I'm going to be a little bit cautious taking out the bulb just in case. I still feel that now, it was putting up a lot of resistance and now it's putting up nothing. A bit of dust in here, nothing too ominous about that. You're always going to get dust in something that's probably 40 years old by now. But the allure of having a... Oh, no, the bulb is blown. Having a lovely bit of Darjeeling in the morning to wake you up is definitely tempting. I'm going to try now, very carefully, without shorting something out, especially my fingers, to see if there's any voltage on that. It's kind of reading a 40 volts AC on that. That's something that doesn't sound right. Let's check this bulb. No, this is a 240 volt bulb. I'll just go find another bulb. Okay, I couldn't find, unfortunately, a lamp that would fit, because everything these days is screw fitting. The small Edison screw rather than the bayonet. And I really don't have the patience to go looking through all the lamps in the house. I thought, I want to just get a reading off this. Look, we can actually just pop this off. And if I do have an old lamp, I can probably just put the fitting in. So I just want to make sure it's working there. That's my primary goal right now. So I'm just unscrewing that. And, oh, cut myself. Like an old PC case, isn't it? You've got to be careful. And there are our two contacts. So I'm going to see if I've got a way of hooking these up to something. Seems my dreams of a cup of tea are unforthcoming. So I've just decided to go for broke and solder a lamp straight in. Okay, as ever, nothing's as easy as that. I've pulled the knob off and the shaft is definitely jammed in. So I think we're going to have to tear into this anyway. At least we got the option to see if there's the opportunity to put in an Internet of Things and modernise this. Get the old time adjustment knob off. Oh, need big screws, manly, old-fashioned screws, not modern little screws. Whew. That was some effort, I'm telling you, that was some effort. Okay, good. Ooh. Oh my word! This is fantastic! Look at this! I think we've got to get this on the bench, really. Or at least get a zoom lens attached. Right, quick lens swap later. You now have the ability to come with me on a journey of discovery. Although, I'm not sure how it works at this angle. A bit of an unusual aspect for me in the old back office. Normally have it above your head. So that is basically the mechanism in there, and you might just be able to see if I can kind of contort myself and contort the camera and contort many items like that. That it is basically a shaft in there with a bunch of splines, a bit like a washing machine, and they all have to engage and they just click different switches in there. You can see it right there. You can see there's the main shaft in there, and that's the rotational part. And there's just a bunch of leaf springs in there. So I think the only way for me to sort of go about this is to try to free this up. And I'm going to spray. Where's me lubricants? Before we go with the lubricant, we're going to probably go with the PCB cleaner, and then we're going to go with silicone lubricant. But this is all good stuff, the old flux clean. It tends to be able to get in there, just get out some of the goss, basically. And just to make sure we don't contaminate the machine too much, I'll put a bit of blue roll in here so any drippings can get caught by that. So luckily the knob itself though is one of those type with the spring loading, so you can see twisting it, over cranking it didn't break anything. It did start to try to round off the bit where the knob goes. That's fine. So look at that though, I'm twisting it. I'm not seeing any motion at all though on this. This is like it's totally wedged in. If I have to get in there, it's going to be a little bit of more work to pull that out totally and clean it, but I might just have to do that. Let's see what else we can see though in here. Whew, what's that thing? Is that effectively a relay? It just looks like a big old coil of some description, not sure why that's used. And then we have the motor, which is a synchro for the clock, so that's what winds the clock around. Then that's the adjustment for the alarm, nice and mechanical. And then at the back we had that time adjustment, and then a big old fat resistor. They're quite common to see that in timers. And there's your kettle, and there's some sort of sensor here, so there's probably a switch for that. But what's worrying is, think how thin the wiring is in this thing. It's all quite thin really. 206 amp, so it's not too bad. Right, I'm just going to work on this for a bit. Ah yes, I managed the old stick it up the backside trick, and I have got it starting to move. So what I'm going to do is treat it to a little bit more flux clean whilst cranking it. Remember, it only goes two directions, and it does have hard end stops, so don't try to twist this round infinitely because that's going to be bad news. But that's sounding quite good. I'll see if I can do it from the front. Yeah. Ooh, that's a very satisfying click. Get out, get out. So what remains is to take out your basic cleaning cloths and get in there. And I'm going to let that dry. And when it dries, I'm going to give that just the gentlest spray with silicone lubricant. In fact, let's just do that now. Don't think it really will affect it too much. So get your silicone. I don't like to use WD-40 because those petroleum-based things can swell plastics, and you don't want this to be swole. Oh yeah. I think that's sounding good. I think I'm going to put it together now, guys. It's probably just going to work, and we can resume the video where we were supposed to, and that was just making a cup of tea. Okay, we have some success here. I can tell that the clock is running because in here there's a little black thing, and that actually has a little flicker showing that that's probably like the seconds basically going off. When I turn it to light, ooh, we have lights. When I turn it to auto, check this out. Okay, so that's what that thing was in there with the coil. That's actually just a buzzer, so I guess that's the alarm. It might be nice to disable the alarm if you want to be able to have just your tea without that shrill noise, but we'll have to see on the mode of this because I don't know if this turns on and off automatically based on that. I filled this up with water, and by gosh, it's like 2 litres. It's super heavy. I'm really worried that the old Bakelite handle might not survive this. I'm not seeing any sort of cracks or stress points around the worst areas, but I'd carry it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to plug in that lead at the back into the back of the water, and I'm going to pop that in, and it's got an interesting, it's almost like a hot plate, but I guess it's probably got a spacer in there. And what I'm going to do is set a stopwatch on my phone, and we'll just sort of run it. I'm going to let this set the alarm. You can see it's on the hour now. That's now I can't get to that. I'm going to wind this forward. In fact, how long do you think it gives? Oh, I can hear a noise. Hang on. Let's set this to 1. I'm just going to listen for some clicks. Right. So far so good. I just expect it to come on before the alarm so the tea's ready. Otherwise, how can you make the tea without the racket? Ah, there. So it's basically allowing 10 minutes to make the tea. Not hearing the alarm. Let's try that theory again. Oh, okay, this is going to be painful. Clearly it didn't have a manual override if you just wanted tea. So there, let's do this. So we'll wind this round. So that should be now boiling the water. I'm going to have a little listen. Little listen. I'm not quite hearing the sound of boiling water, but let's leave it there. Set that for a second and see what it does. You can see we're a few minutes along now. No sign of sound, but this thing is definitely getting warm. I use the opportunity to get a glass tumbler so we can see what happens, and I'm going to put in a single tea bag. Now, a single tea bag is pretty lame sauce for a whole cuppa, but I'm going to chuck it in anyway. There was some sort of sensor underneath this, I recall, but what it does, who knows. We'll just wait a little bit longer. Still going. Get that flux cleaner on there. Interestingly, I found some instructions on the internet. The clock is a 12-hour clock. You cannot set your tea making more than 11 hours in the future. Ooh. Put the amount of tea, loose or tea bags, in the teapot and place it in position. If the teapot is not placed correctly, the buzzer will sound immediately. The rotary knob is turned to either auto or tea now. Ah, I think I heard that. Whoa, there you go. But I can hear it starting to boil, which is good. So that's nice, a little alarm to warn you that your pot's not in the right place. Okay, check for kettle for damage or excessive live scale. Do not operate if there is evidence of either. If the kettle is sound, fill it, taking care to observe the maximum level inside. If the kettle is filled, boiling water may spurt from the lid and vent hole. Fit the lid securely. Now it is actually pretty hot. You can hear it. You can hear it boiling now, so I imagine there might be some steam coming off that soon. What else? Place the kettle on its platform and plug it into the kettle connector. Never plug the Teasmade kettle directly into the mains. No wonder, because they probably don't shut off. Turn the Teasmade on by turning the rotary knob to auto. Go to sleep. You will be wakened by an enthusiastic gurgling sound and finally the buzzing of the alarm. Turn the rotary knob to the light or off position. Either will silence the buzzer. These Teasmades can be used as an alarm clock without using the auto tea facility. Ensure the kettle is empty. Place the teapot in position. Turn the rotary knob to auto. The buzzer will sound approximately 15 minutes before the time set. 15 minutes before the time set. So that was the 15-minute thing we talked about. Turn to the off position to silence the knob. As a bedside light, you just turn it to the light position and then turn it to off, or auto as required. These Teasmades can now be used to make tea when required without using the alarm function. Turn the rotary knob to tea now. We don't have that one that has the tea now position. Dang. Curse you! Ooh, according to the interwebs, some of them were made even without the clock or the light. That'd be really cool for a hotel. That's basically the British equivalent of the Mr. Coffee. Still going, by the way. It's a full 5 minutes on now. Time's a wasting. I know you'd want an action shot, but there you go. So you can hear this thing is pretty much nearly boiling. And there's the little spout in there. Again, we're like nearly 10 minutes on. So I guess you want to set that. Do you want to set that 10 minutes earlier? Check this out really to work that out. So yeah, well, it did say 15 minutes, so it is getting to be about that whole 15-minute mark. Oh, we got a whistle in. It's whistling. It's effectively a pressure vessel though. Look at that. That might not be good. Ow. Yeah, I might need to check that. Oh no, it is coming through though. It is coming through. Don't know if you can see that, but it is pouring. Ow, ow, ow. Tea! Tea is happening. It's literally the most exciting thing I've ever witnessed. I think a lot of you watching this from the UK will also agree. This is something, I think the Queen must have one of these. This is so high tech. Look at that water coming in. It's like a golden shower. Pop that in again. So how does it know it's done though? That's the question. Whoa! Okay, I will say something. The main pot, it did shut off when the alarm came on, but I'm just going to check inside. It's not used up all the water, to be fair. Ow, ow, ow! It's dripping on me. But it's got like a couple of inches in the bottom, but I kind of think they're just about under the heating element, so it probably needs that. It's probably like ballast for the system. So I guess that's pretty much done. So it takes 2 litres. I think if you want to get that extra bit of water out, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm just looking at that. It doesn't look like, from how it's constructed in there, you've got a pipe basically from there going down, but it only goes down to this far. So I don't know how it's going to draw up water beyond that. So I'm guessing they leave a bit in the bottom just to act, ouch, as a buffer, you know, so the heating elements don't dry out. But we do have now hot tea, and I'm gonna, oh my word, that is proper hot tea, guys. And I'm putting it into kind of like a whiskey tumbler, so I'm a bit careful. I might get a lap full of hot tea, so I'm going to put a tiny bit in. Some people drink tea out of a glass, but they might have glasses that are rated for this. This might not be. I might just stand back if that's okay. Take me phone. There you go. A lovely glass of the amber stuff. Now let me just show you something. Remember it said if you put it in auto with the jug off, it would raise an alarm. Alarm is raised. So we'll just pop that back on there. Wow. The alarm is still raised. I think the alarm is still raised though because of the timer. So if we move that, yeah, see, that's all within the alarming period. But there you go. That's a wonderful looking cup of tea. Look at that. That's okay. I won't drink that just because I haven't washed it out yet. But there. So hopefully that's been of some fascination to you. I have to say, I've not seen a more marvellous piece of equipment. I think if you imagine now all of the stuff we have, do we have even Teasmades anymore? I know we have coffee machines, but Teasmade, tea is where it's all at, guys. Especially you guys in the US, you got to learn to embrace the tea. So please like, share, subscribe if you want more of these videos. Again, I'm going to try to do a bit more car boot finds. It's car boot season again, and if you enjoy your tea, of course, you know what can I say other than chin chin. So hot!